Corporation Street was the main thoroughfare, really, other than York Street into Belfast.
And most of the streets are named after the sea too. Dock Street, Ship Street, Trafalgar Street, Nelson Street. That's how it got its name, Sailortown, really.
Sailortown was a thriving community. Population was a mixed population, and it didn't matter whether you were Catholic, Protestant or what your religion was. If you weren't born in Sailorstown, you were regarded as a blow-in, even if you'd been living there for 30 or 40 years or maybe longer.
They were just dockers, and if they weren't in the working on the docks, they were working on Gallagher's or across in Harland Wolves, and they were a very close community. And this church basically was built for sailors who had come into Belfast and they wanted a spiritual home.
It was a very popular and busy place in the 1800s, right up to 1970 in fact. In 1970 they built the M2 and they bulldozed all the houses here. They destroyed the community really.
In my opinion, it just wasn't the railroad going through and new roads going through. You had the Troubles, sadly, and the community did get polarised to a certain degree, and that had a devastating effect as well.
Well, many of our members had to then go down to Rathcoole, Newton Ards, Bangor, you name it.
For the faithful members of this congregation, it was like an exile. They were on a journey, not sure where they were going. We do believe strongly in the preaching of the gospel, and we believe that that is the answer for the area, that if we glorify Christ, then He will draw people to Him.
We're all an older congregation in our 80s and even some in our 90s, so we're getting on in age and we have very few young people. And that's what the hope of the mission plan is, that we can move forward and draw more people in.
Plans have been drawn up by the harbour for the City Quays project. They're talking about the current harbour car park which runs in Corporation Street. They're actually talk of putting in housing in there again. One of the plans is for a pedestrian and cyclist bridge which is actually going to pass right front door here.
Not only that, the University of Ulster will be moving up 3,000 students in the near future here, so we're hoping to get people from that into our parish.
We just felt this is a godsend for this church, and that here is a mission right on our doorstep for the future. I would never have envisaged 5 to 7 years ago that this church would have an exciting future that lies before it.
It's almost as if it's turned full circle again. From a time going back when I was a young lad, I remember this church packed. I would love those days back again, but they may or may not come. But it certainly would not be with what I would call traditional members of our congregation, which is a gathered congregation.
But there is a large elderly membership who maybe feel slightly threatened with all these new plans and new visions. And that's why we feel that they have to be pastored too. But there are also those who have a great heart for wanting God to be glorified. They see that the future congregation is not going to be the 260 who belong to us at the moment. It's going to be a new church here in Corporation Square for the people who are around Corporation Square.